It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Because I give my parents a lot of credit. They did know every dollar was super important, but they were growing up, Preston had one thing that I do pick on my parents is the opportunity cost is that they never, ever, ever would ask somebody to help them financially,
Right.
meaning like hire a financial advisor or other things, because they didn't want to spend the money.
Yep.
So they were being cheap, and I think the wrong way
Sure.
on this next category.
And, I think this is one, I think a lot of people struggle with this because they think about, all right, I want to build to financial independence. I want to build to a certain level of wealth and success. But anything, if I don't have every dollar moving towards that goal, or perhaps I do something that shifts some of those dollars away, I'm going to prohibit myself from actually getting there. And I imagine that's what your parents thought. Well, no, if I incur a new expense trying to build my army of dollar bills, well, that's not going to be good.
Right.
So no way could that be a positive.
So, but that's why I had Daniel. I said, Daniel, I want to actually put some numbers in this. I want to put
Sure.
some meat to it. So let's do another tale of two savers. Because I think it's interesting. When you get older, I got married and met my wife's family who were also, didn't make a ton of money, but have done really good things with their money by the fact that they actually put their army of dollars to work. So I told Daniel, I said, I want you to do, because my parents' idea of investing was CDs.
Sure.
That's what I grew up with. My dad used to tell me this cautionary tale of the only time he did equities was when this son of a gun stockbroker cold called him, convinced him to buy 2 stocks, and then he lost his money on them. So he was just never, ever going into this crazy gambling type thing of stocks. So CDs were, in his mind, perceived as super safe.
Sure.
So that's what we always did. Meanwhile, my in-laws, my father-in-law and my mother-in-law were buying the Fidelity Magellan Fund back when it was the thing
Cream of the
to
crop.
do. I mean, this is Peter Lynch who, set up some incredible opportunities in the long term for his investors. And I got to tell you guys, this one decision, and you face this same decision yourself, this one decision can change your life. So make sure your army of dollar bills is working, but walk them through the illustration.
So what we said is if we just take the time period from 1985 through 2000, because that's kind of the time when your parents were doing the CDs and then your in-laws were in the Fidelity Magellan Fund, what does it actually look like if you grow your investments through there? Well, if they both started with $50,000 in 1985, didn't add anything else to it, just both started with $50,000, you can see that by the year 2000, your in-laws would have had almost $836,000. But your parents, who were doing the perceived safe thing, the steady as it goes investing, that $50,000 using 1-year CDs would have been about $118,000. So it would have grown, it would have doubled, it would have done well, but not nearly what using that investment mutual fund would have done for them.
Well, I mean, and I think the results are in the fact that, and by the way, if you're wondering how did we choose this time period, I met my wife in the mid-90s. We got married in 98, just had my 22nd wedding anniversary this weekend.
Happy anniversary.
So the 2000 seemed like a good shutoff because that's where, my in-laws came into my life was in the late 90s. And I saw my father-in-law actually retire at age 55. I mean, how many people actually get, back then, this is, like I said, in the late 90s, early 2000s, actually retire at 55. That's incredible. And this is what kind of shows that one decision of buying into the Fidelity Magellan Fund got him closer to 7 figures versus my parents. They doubled their money, but yes, the army of dollar bills didn't get to turned into the peak maximum opportunity of what they could have been.
And so what I hear is, it makes me so sad to know that your father had this very poor experience with a financial advisor. A guy cold called him and told him to buy some stocks.
That's not a financial advisor. That's a stockbroker just focusing on selling a product.
So, but I think had your parents had some appropriate education around how to make sound financial decisions, and they would have had a true financial advisor, perhaps they would have been in the same situation as your in-laws with a little bit of education and a little bit of product. So one of the things that we want you guys to have access to is our 8 questions to ask a financial advisor. If you're someone who's thinking about hiring a financial advisor or starting to look into it, or perhaps you're already working with one, you can go out to our website, moneyguy.com/, I got corrected for the backslashes. moneyguide.com/resources. And you can go download this. It just walks through 8 great questions you can ask to know what type of financial advisor you're working with to make sure you're making a wise decision.
Yeah, go maximize that money so your money can actually do something for you, because I think that that's the thing that I realized, and that's what made me, I mean, I'm telling you, when I read The Millionaire Next Door, when I read The Wealthy Barber, the light bulb went off and I said, look, I can do this. You too can learn how to make your money work just as hard for you. So don't let this opportunity pass you by.